Hi, I'm Walter Washington, owner of Washington AC and Heating here in Houston, Texas, and welcome to Shop Talk. So I run a HVAC and heating business. That stands for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. We do everything from installation to repairs and maintenances. Anything that you can imagine that you need to run an HVAC service business, I have it in this truck. So the vehicle that we're riding in today is a 2006 Chevy Express van with a utility style bed on it. And I have had this truck for 2 years now. So I actually found this truck in San Antonio, Texas, up for sale. They was asking $5,000 for this truck. And I just asked the guy, would you take $3,500 cash for it? And he agreed to it. There was some minor things that I had to put into the truck. I think less than a year, the transmission had went out. So I did have to replace the transmission, and even the AC went out in the truck at one time. So I did replace that also. But it was some minor things, but other than that, man, it's been a great truck. So as far as the equipment I have in my truck, you're probably looking at least $10,000 to $15,000 worth of equipment on my truck. All right, so I'd like to give y'all a tour of my truck. I use my iPad to, schedule my customers through Jobber, or come in here and do my invoicing through Jobber, or even come outside and do estimates. Do it all on this iPad right here with my Jobber app. These are analog gauges. These are a must-have because unfortunately digital gauges may run out of batteries or anything like that, but these do not use batteries. Analogs I always go to, and even if it's raining or storming or something, I still need to get out there and work. I don't want to pull my digital gauges out, so I always keep my analogs just for backup. Also, I always keep shoe covers on me. Going to customer houses like that, walking in backyards, you might have pet poop or anything, something like that that's in their backyard. You don't want to be tracking that stuff through customer houses. So that's a non-negotiable for me. I always put shoe covers on when I'm going to the customer houses. Just some protective gloves on me in my cab also. So these come in handy for me also, try to keep my hands from getting all that mud and dirt and stuff on. So this is another department that I just keep a bunch of receipts and invoices. Fortunately, I don't use paper invoices no more since I have Jobber. That's old news. Yeah, always good to keep a little extra dolly on hand as well. All right, so up top I have a 32-foot extension ladder. This is going to give me access to almost any commercial building that I work on. It reaches low heights all the way up to 32 foot. So this whole side of this compartment of this truck right here really gonna be my quick fixes and most of my electrical repairs. On this compartment here, there's a bunch of drill bits and a bunch of electrical repairs where I keep all my lug nuts. These are big commercial fuses. I have a bunch of nuts and bolts. It's a bunch of my drill bits. A bunch of drill bits compartments. I can get quick go-tos. It's a lot of my go-to as far as my electrical compartment goes. Very time consuming if you don't know exactly where all your tools and stuff is. So it's definitely important for me to keep everything organized so I know exactly where it's at. This next apartment right here is most of my plumbing and my PVC piping. Right here I have gallons of water that filled up if I need to unclog a drain line, which I use a funnel that'll help flush all the water through. Right here, I got a bunch of PVC fittings. Well, these right here is called the condensate trap. This is very important right here. It helps to shut the unit off if a unit ever overflows. PVC glue, everything as far as my PVC and my drain line piping is in this bottom section right here. This top section right here is for my gas piping. And here in Houston, Texas, we use a lot of natural gas. So I have a bunch of natural gas fittings and a bunch of tools just to work on my natural gas. So this next department right here, a bunch of my electrical repairs. This is why I keep all my capacitors, my contactors, my transformer. I have control boards. Any quick fix repairs right here that I can get customer up and running is in this department right here. So these are capacitors. We keep all different sizes. Each unit is different, but it has to have the same exact part that goes back on the unit. So we keep all different size capacitors. All these are capacitors right here. These are my winter department right here. We getting into the winter months now. So a lot of this stuff right here is going to be heating repairs. Bunch of igniters, more control boards. These control boards are for furnace and natural gas furnaces. These are 3-pole contactors. This is mainly for my commercial clients. This is phase monitors. A phase monitor is to protect your equipment. If you have a power outage or a bad storm come through, it's going to shut the unit down to protect the compressor. Most of the calls that we run on is going to be electrical. So I need this section right here. It's very important. It's my miscellaneous department right here. I got a bunch of copper fittings, a bunch of ductwork repairs. In this back section right here, got a bunch of tubing cutters, duct tape, more duct tape, but most of my ductwork stuff is in this department right here. 5-gallon bucket right here is filled with copper fittings. Miscellaneous drawer right here. All right, so this is where all the magic happens right here. So this is the inside of my truck. I have a Yeti cooler here. It's very important here in Texas to stay hydrated. Sometimes we have temperatures over 100 degrees. Try to keep water and Gatorade on me at all times. All right, so this is my tool bag. On pretty much every call, this is the first thing I grab out of my truck right here. It has a bunch of different miscellaneous hand tools. This is where I keep my meter. This is very important for our job as far as doing any kind of low voltage troubleshooting and high voltage troubleshooting. Very important for me to have a good, reliable meter on me at all times. So what is my favorite tool? Really can't have one without the other, but my meter is definitely very important to me. But this could be one of my favorite tools, also my drill, because I gotta have access to the unit. So this drill is very important, but also in HVAC, we gotta have a good set of gauges right here. And these are some of my favorite pair of gauges also. So these gauges are for us to check refrigerant pressures. Well, as far as HVAC, all HVAC equipment has refrigerant in there, and we need to check the refrigerant levels, and we go by pressure. So the gauges are very important. These are digital gauges. Some people use analog gauges. I have a set of both. So I gotta have a meter, I gotta have a drill, and I gotta have a good set of gauges on me. All right, so I've started in this section right here. So this is a bag I have with a bunch of different batteries in here. I use DeWalt a lot, probably about 7 or 8 different batteries in here, all 20-volt batteries. This is my vacuum pump. Like I say, all these batteries that I got in that bag, this battery fits on here also. So this top shelf right here, I have another DeWalt light, because sometimes we be in attics and crawl spaces and we do need a good light on it. So this light right here is very, very good. Keep it well lit, and it comes in very handy. I have more miscellaneous copper. I have a bunch of PVC up here, pipes. We got insulation. I like to keep my area clean, so I have a broom and dustpan. So on this shelf right here is a continuation of the shelf that I showed you on the outside. If it's raining or something right here, I can get in my truck and access everything from the inside. But this is like a continuation of it, where I keep a bunch of extra thermostats, keep more contactors, more capacitors. So we continue to go down here. I have more just miscellaneous stuff for my meter, more leader needs. I have more meters in here. This is a digital meter. This is like my backup right here. It's a smart meter. We can't see electricity, so it's good to have a reliable meter, and you need a backup. So if something go wrong with my first go-to meter, I can always have a backup at all times. This is really my favorite meter. This meter right here can do everything. Installation test and a multimeter. So it can check for grounded compressors. This is a high-tech meter. This meter right here costs about $1,000. So miscellaneous hammers, rubber mallets, big ductwork scissors, bunch of miscellaneous tools right here. If I'm doing big jobs right here for commercial jobs or sometimes residential. So these are flue pipe for my combustible gases. So this right here, what we call a fishing tool, trying to go through sheetrock or just trying to pull in any type of electrical thermostats or electrical wiring. This is what we use this tool right here for. All right. This is my refrigerant rack. So this bottom one is a recovery cylinder right here, very important. This is right here is R22. This is what y'all hear about. It's very, very expensive. It's phasing out right now. This one drum right here probably going to cost you about $1,500. This is 410A refrigerant right here. And this is probably half the cost of this right now. After the pandemic, prices went sky high on this refrigerant. But if you start an HVAC company or you're an HVAC technician, you have to have all types of refrigerant on your truck. This is what you call from installing a ductless mini split. And I am pretty much a one-man operation, so sometimes I don't have a helper with me, hold a piece of equipment up. I can put both of these on the wall called mighty brackets, where I can actually hang the piece of equipment up myself, you know. This is another tool that I have. This is what we call a compressor grabber. Those compressors can be anywhere 50 to 100 pounds. It helps me grab the compressor so I won't kind of mess my back up. All my tools are very important. In HVAC, we have to have good quality tools. So this is a bending kit for copper tools. Something like this probably gonna cost you about $300 or so. This is a compact suasion tool by Hemore. This saved me so much money as far as me not have to buy couplings. So I don't have to go to a bunch of different supply houses and make different couplings. I can get a 7/8 coupling, a 5/8 coupling, a 1/2-inch coupling, and a 3/8 coupling. Very, 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 very useful tool. I think right now this tool may be between $300 and $500. But like I say, it's gonna pay for itself and it's gonna save you a lot of time and get you out a lot of binds. These are more for commercial jobs. These if I need to get blower motors out. These are my bigger tool, bunch of different gear pullers for blower motors. I have a whole bag of different sizes because we don't know what we're gonna run up against. So same thing with this, big hammer drill. More for like big commercial job, maybe 06E compressors, 06D compressors. If you got a nut that's hard to get out your compressors right here, this right here is gonna get it out right here. This is a good, powerful tool. You'll see this a lot of times in automotive. Even if I want to change a tire on the side of the road, zip, 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 get me out of there. This is another go-to, a must-have. Every good business owner, HVAC technician must have great leak detector. This right here is the H10 Pro. This is a go-to. This is what we call electronic leak detector. It's pretty much gonna find any leak. All right, so I'm gonna give you an example of it finding the leak. So I'm gonna be able to crack this. You see it speed up. We just gave you an example. If one of the copper piping that's in somebody's line set, if it had a little small hole in it, the refrigerant would leak out that copper line set and this leak detector would find it. It is probably gonna cost you another $1,000. So this is another leak detector. This is what I call the Infocom Pro. I already got it warmed up. That's the other beeping that you heard. And it's already picking it up from way right here, because it's sniffing the gas that's in the atmosphere right now. Some leaks are hard to find. So this is an ultrasonic leak detector because sometimes I might be in environments where if the electronic leak detector can't pick it up, I can put these headphones on and this electronic leak detector is going to sniff it out. Like I say, I don't use this as much because those two right there that I just showed you, my electronic leak detector, 9 times out of 10, they're going to find the leak. Another leak detector that I use is what we call liquid leak detector. If there's enough pressure inside the unit, I can spray this on the copper and the copper is going to make bubbles. It's going to make little small bubbles like this. So a lot of time I use this first. If I can't find it with that, that's when I go to my backup. It's a sawzall. Sometimes we have to cut copper pipe. That's another very handy tool that I use quite often. Always good for me to keep a good rope on me. So when I'm doing, like I said, I work by myself a lot. So if I'm on a commercial property, if I need to bring up some of this equipment right here, I rope it up. Let's say if I want to tie some of this equipment up without carrying on the ladder, because we got to keep in mind you have to be safe. And you don't want to start carrying a bunch of this heavy equipment up. So I get on top of the roof and I tie it and rope it up. So that's what I use a rope for. Good to have a good rope. This hooks up to my drill. We'll show you down, but it's a snake. But if I need to unclog a drain line or a bad drain clog, when I hook my drill up to it, it'll wiggle and get out all the maybe hair or anything that's clogging up the drain line. I keep a gallon of water on me and a funnel also to help me unclog drain lines. These 150-foot pocket holes where they kind of shrivel up. And I keep a 100-footer on me and I keep a 75-footer on me. It's what we call a flow hood. Sometimes I have customers saying that their master bedroom might not be cooling or a particular room is getting colder than the other one. So this right here measures airflow. It's probably going to cost you maybe about $500 for one of these. We'll hook up to the vent or the register where the air cools, and this right here measures the airflow. So let's just say if I'm not getting 144 CFM to the bedroom, I'm only getting 100, I know I need to try to do an air balancing. And that's what this is for, air balancing. I need to try to push 144 CFM to try to cool that space. Apion G5 Twin. This is what recovers the refrigerant and goes into this cylinder. These two come in hand in hand together. It's my refrigerant scale. This is another piece of component that goes hand in hand with my refrigerant. Very important to have a scale on your truck. You need to know exactly how much refrigerant you're putting inside the units right here. You see if I take it out, 26 pounds. This is about a 100-foot extension cord. Always good to have a good extension cord also so we can power our electronics. I also keep a rug right here to try to keep my area clean. A lot of time when I'm doing evaporator cord change out, and we do a lot of work in the attics around here in Texas, so I put this at the bottom of my ladder so it'll catch all the debris that I'm maybe dropping from the attic. So I installed this jet rack for my ladders. When I first got this truck, I didn't have a ladder rack on here, so I would have to have my ladder just on the floorboard, and it was just a pain and a hassle just to get it out the way. So I installed this rack just to get it out the way, and this is an 8-foot ladder. This is my money maker right here. This is when I actually got to go inside the unit and do more major repairs of the other unit. So in this first department, this is for all my seal system repairs. Like when I was showing you the example of the refrigerant leak that we found, this right here is going to fix this. So this is my brazing torches, and this is my nitrogen. So this helps me find the leaks. These are brazing rods. These are 15% brazing rod. Probably going to cost you $100-some per pack. In this whole department, including the brazing rod and the nitrogen bottles, nitrogen regulator, oxygen acetylene tanks with the regulator, it's going to cost you probably about $700 total for everything in this department. This more seal system repairs. This is a vacuum pump. This will help me pull down my system. At HVAC, we need to pull our system down to 500 microns, and this vacuum pump will do it. It's a 9 CFM vacuum pump. And it's a bunch of oil, clean oil, and I have a cylinder to dump my dirty oil in. This vacuum pump, each time you use it, you need to put new oil, vacuum pump oil, inside the vacuum pump. This top section, this is a bunch of what we call the expansion valve. I have a bunch of TXVs. These are all new TXVs from anywhere from a 3-ton system to a 5-ton system. All right, so this department right here, I kind of showed you from the inside. So the benefit of being able to access this from the inside in out, let's just say if I just need to hurry up and grab it real quick, I can just pull it down and grab it from the outside. I don't have to get on the inside and bend all over or try to look for anything. But also the benefits of having it on the inside, if it's raining or something like that and I need to go through my tools, I can do it from the inside and get out the weather. So this last department, from the back, I have more recovery cylinders in here. This recovery machine go hand in hand with the recovery tank. So I have different cylinders, one for like 410A refrigerant, one for dirty refrigerant, and the one on the outside where I keep my R22 refrigerant in here. So it's very important to have multiple cylinders for different refrigerant because you can't mix refrigerant. So this top shelf is just miscellaneous tools. This right here helped me get condenser fan motors or blower motors off the hub. So this is what we call a puller. This thing here is undefeated. I use this a lot to maybe just cut away copper, cut PVCs that's in a tough spot, or just cut screws that I can't get the nut off. So this grinder right here is very important. It's a must-have. I have a bunch of different micron gauges, like I was explaining with the vacuum pump a little earlier. We hook this up and pull this down to 500 micron. So this is digital to let me know exactly how many microns that I have pulled the system down to. It's what we call RX11. It's always good to have multiple bottles of RX11 on my truck. This is going to flush all the green bottle of that R22 system out. But R22 is obsolete now, so we have to convert it to 14A refrigerant, and this right here is going to flush all the R22 out the system. This will help me control my nitrogen flow. So if I wanted a small amount or a large amount of nitrogen, a lot of times we like to purge while we're brazing. We like to purge nitrogen while we're brazing. So this right here helps regulate the airflow or the nitrogen flow of my regulator right here. All right. In addition to my work truck, this is where I do a lot of my marketing and also a lot of invoicing and emailing my customers. I have been doing like live streaming and podcasting for my YouTube channel. So I have a couple of mics, and I'm gonna start having guests up in here also, other technicians and other contractors. So all my content is all HVAC related. So whether you can be a business owner, you can be a technician, or even you can be a homeowner. I just have a passion for HVAC. It is a good industry and it is a good business. Like I say, you can be a technician, you can work for someone, or one day eventually you can do like I'm doing and start your own company. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and we'll see you next time.